Okay, here we are at our Ask the Expert series, the August edition. I think this is our 5th month, isn't it? I think it is. So we're committed to doing this for, I think we said 6 months, but we can go ahead for a year until whenever. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's been very beneficial. A lot of people have been getting their questions answered, and just being able to provide the information to the people we serve.
And so much has changed that I think this is a good platform to go over some of the changes in the industry. So one of the changes in the industry is as of starting August 17th, um, the compensation that's being offered by a buyer's broker will no longer be put in the multiple listing service. So it won't be in the MLS anymore. And we recommend just putting it in the contract and seeing what happens. It doesn't mean that the agent is not going to get paid, but the agent may have to get paid from the buyer versus the seller. How are you feeling about that?
I feel good about it because I think that um, it's pretty much the way it was anyways. I think we were just kind of using the wrong terms, and this is reshaping and making us use the proper terminology in order to explain it to our clients. So I feel good about it. I think that as professionals, right, we've set our business up as a business. This wasn't like on the favor system and, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this. It's always been business. And so um, it doesn't change much. And I think that agents who weren't doing that, their buyers are going to have a little bit of an adjustment. But I think it's good for the real estate industry overall.
I think the agents that weren't doing it are going to be uncomfortable with asking somebody to sign this before I open a door for you, before I do all these searches for you and spend all this time and effort, and then you take your search and your listing and you go somewhere else, which has happened. And even having a buyer's agreement doesn't mean they can't use another realtor either. I mean, we've seen that happen as well. So agents, get your buyer's agreements signed, whatever you're going to charge, and then we'll negotiate everything else after that. But we are not working for free. And
Yes.
that's the bottom line. It's kind of like an attorney. You go to an attorney and they pay a retainer fee. So
Mm-hmm.
us realtors will be charging like a retainer fee, and you agree to work with us exclusively because it takes a lot of time to do these reports and tours and getting in the car driving, and then we got dues to pay, we got taxes to pay, we got fees to the state and all these associations we have to be a part of, continuing education. It's a lot. People think agents make a lot of money, but they spend out a lot of money as well. Actually,
Yeah.
my mentor, one of my mentors, he said one year he made over $1 million, but he
Mm-hmm.
only brought home like 200,000, but he worked his butt off for that 200,000. The rest of that went
Mm-hmm.
into marketing and everything else
Yes.
associated with running a business. So we have to treat it like a business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, people don't see that. And um, it's, I think it's bringing it to the forefront, the value that we have, right? And especially if we are doing all those things that you said, and then some, really, it's then some, because, we're not just sending you properties, we're doing research, reaching out to advocating for you. And, and so all of those things come into play. And, I think that the dust will settle. It's
Yeah,
uncomfortable right now, but the dust will settle.
yes. Hello, Miss Charissa. Nice of you to join us.
You got the link? Good. Yeah,
You,
she's
you're on mute.
Good morning, ladies. Sorry about the technical difficulties that I'm I'm experiencing here.
no
It happens.
problem, no problem.
It happens. This is live, so it's okay.
Okay, that's
We were talking about the NAR settlement that's gonna happen beginning August 17th. All of our buyers' representation agreements are gonna have to be done over. Our sellers' representation agreements are gonna have to be done over.
Mhm. And to that point with like seeing properties and like not just showing up and opening doors, there is a lot of this is going to be fees upfront. So like showing services, right? If you want me to open a door, there's a fee attached to that, right? If you're not willing to establish a relationship, an ongoing relationship, there's fees for opening doors and so it's showing services and things like that. Um, and the bottom line is we can't, right? We have to have something in place that says I am authorized to show you this place. And so for buyers, it's not you. That's what I want to make sure buyers understand is it's not you, right? It's not a punishment to you. It's actually in protection of you, right? To make sure that you're getting the best service because as long as we don't have an agreement, then technically as an agent, we are there for the seller. We're opening that door to benefit the seller. So when you want somebody on your side, you got to hire them.
Mhm.
I
And I
think these
believe,
changes are going to be really great because it will clearly define our roles and our responsibilities and the things that we really provide for the buyer. Because I think it's just been understood that, like you said, you call us, we go take you to see a place, and you move on, or either you work with another agent, not really realizing without a buyer's representation agreement signed, we always represent the seller. And I always like to think of it like the attorneys. I said, when you get an attorney, you work with that attorney. They upfront what those fees are, what their responsibilities are, and the documentation is signed immediately before they start to move forward with anything. And not only that, but you paid their fee up front. It is not something that is being negotiated. This is what they offer, this is what they do, and this is what it is. Sorry about my dog. Let me put her outside. Sorry.
right, even if it's just $250, they committed to you for that $250, they're gonna use you. They're not gonna jump around and go to, 2, 3 other realtors and pay them $250 or $500 or whatever they charge. So, yay for us.
Yep, yep. That's it. That is it. Absolutely. And here's the thing, you're always under an agreement. I think as people, we are so quick to assume, right? That or just not read things, not pay attention. So in consultations, when your agent is going over forms with you, when they're having the conversation about their fees that they're charging and what that looks like for you, pay attention to that, right? Because we're so like, okay, I want to get the prices started, I want to get going, and then like just show me the houses, right? But we don't pay attention to what the agent is explaining to you as far as how we move forward, what that really looks like. And so then, well, you're like, oh, okay, I'll just sign for this house because I really like this house. I want this house. And then that house doesn't work out. And then you're like, well, why do I have to sign another form for another house? I already signed the form. Well, no, either you sign for her house or you sign for unlimited access to houses based on territory or area. So just really important that we make sure that we're having the proper communications to buyers. Don't be discouraged, right? Because there are ways to uh, compensate, right? To get that fee, take care of that fee, right? But it's about having a conversation about what you can do. So, first of all, be honest about what you can do, right? If you can afford to pay the agent, what those fees look like, where the money is coming from. If there is a situation where maybe you need to have some type of concession made on your behalf in order to cover the agent, have that conversation when you're signing the representation agreement. It is going to be extremely important that you are open and honest up front so that we can have a plan in place in order to navigate the situation, right? In order to navigate the transaction for your best benefit. It determines, the plan that we put together to best serve you. So just be always clear, upfront, and honest. Talk with your agent, go to the consultation. It doesn't take a long time, but it's going to be so beneficial to you in the end to have a good working relationship with your agent. They're there to advocate for you, to support you, and they're worth that and more. And so just be mindful of that.
And you have to, I just lost my train of thought. Just that quick. Oh my goodness.
Well, this change is just not happening here in Texas.
No, it's nationwide.
Right. So it's like the new norm now, or it has already been in place as far as the buyer's representation. It's just that sometimes as agents, we don't talk about that as much because we were always under the assumption that the seller would be sharing their funds, and that is not the case anymore. We're not going to go in this with that assumption because there's a great possibility that it will not happen. And like Janila says, be honest, because this way we'll know how best to help you.
I remember what I was going to say now.
Okay.
In the past, a lot of realtors didn't get into the finances with the buyers. They didn't ask those questions. They sent them all to the lender. You deal that with the lender, give me the pre-approval, and then we'll go from there. And they didn't even ask, well, do you have money for compensation? Even though you signed a buyer's rep that said, I'm going to get paid 3%, we assumed, like you said, the 3% was going to come from the sellers. But now if the seller is only paying 2% and you signed an agreement for 3%, that 1% has to come from the buyer. So we have to have that conversation and make sure they have that 1%. How we structure this deal, maybe you can still get 3% depending on how you structure it.
And that's the other thing that's important as well, is to understand that your agent works for a broker. Okay, they work for a brokerage. And so that brokerage is determining how much they're going to get paid. Okay. And so if they're the split, as we call it in realtor terminology, is determined by how much the agent gets and how much the brokerage gets, right? Their broker is determining a lot of the ways that we are moving forward with handling the settlement. And so it's important to understand that there are amendments, right, to amend that original agreement, whether it's for the agent to receive more or less fees, right? But again, that's why that conversation is important, and that you understand that the agent works for a brokerage. Okay, they've got somebody else that they're answering to. They're a realtor. They've got a whole organization. There's an MLS that's determining how things are run. There is a whole business behind the business, right? A system in place to, again, protect you, protect the agents, protect the brokerage, and to establish order. And so that's all this is doing.
Yeah. It'll be our new norm in a couple of months.
So,
you guys have anything else to say on that topic?
Oops, say that again.
I said, anybody have anything else to say on that topic?
No, I have no questions in my chats. So we can go ahead and move forward. If you do develop any questions, please reach out to myself, Vanda, or Charissa, and ask all the questions that you need to get a better understanding of how we can better serve you during this time. But we're going to turn it over into talking about assumable loans. Making sure that you have an understanding of those. I did an open house actually at Vanda's listing this Sunday and did a brief explanation. We're going to dive deeper into what it means to assume a loan and how that can be a benefit to you as a buyer. So take it away, Vanda.
So this house on my screensaver is the house in question. And it is on this website called withrome.com. So I put in Katy, Texas, and there's quite a few that came up, but I think mine with a 2.75% interest rate is the lowest one on here. So an assumable loan means you take over the payments that they already have established. There's quite a few on here. Oh, they've added to it. So 2.7. That's not mine. They put another one on here. Oh, darn. Well, so you can get any of these homes with this interest rate here. Maybe I did put Katie in there. Okay. Is this it? Nope.
Okay, and that's withrome.com. I'm putting it in comments so that you guys can see that.
There's a lot of them here. I thought it was just going to pop right up. So let me go back to the website then and tell you what it does. So let's say you take this home here, 2.75% interest rate. The principal interest on this would be only $1,714. That does not include taxes or HOA fees or insurance. But this is their principal and interest. So you can take this over instead of getting a brand new one at 7% or 6%. So you do have to come to the table with the difference. Let's say there's a $30,000 gap in what they're asking and what's the balance of the loan is. Maybe they have 28 years to pay it off instead of 30. And with Rome will help finance the second mortgage. So you don't have to worry about have to come out of cash with that. It doesn't take that much longer. They guarantee a 45-day closing. You can get approved with a credit score of 580. You can do VA or FHA. And the seller is released from all liability at closing. So it just transfers over from their name to your name. And the mortgage is in the buyer's name as of closing. So when you buy it, everything goes into your name.
I wanted to talk about the VA and FHA. So it's not that you're buying, you have to keep in mind that you're assuming someone else's loan. So whatever loan type they have in place, that's what you're assuming. So if you're a FHA buyer and you're coming in to assume a VA loan, which you can do, you're going to have a VA loan product. Okay. If you are a VA loan, you've been approved for a VA loan, and then you're moving to the seller has an FHA loan, you're assuming that FHA loan product. Okay. That's just very important to designate. You're assuming their loan, whatever they have in place, their terms, their interest rate, that's what you're assuming and taking over.
So is Rome like helping navigate you through the loan process of
Yes.
of this assumption?
Yes. Now, they do charge 1% for doing this because normally if you were getting a brand new loan, you'd be paying fees to that lender to do all the paperwork. So with Rome, they're doing all the paperwork. They're negotiating with the lender. In this case of my home, it's with Carrington Mortgage, and he said they work with them a lot. So getting through and navigating through that whole process, they do. And for that, they, want 1% of the loan amount.
And so the real benefit of this is what, getting a lower interest rate?
You're getting a lower interest rate, you're getting shorter term, you're not no longer have a 30-year mortgage, you have whatever amount they have left on that loan. And at a lower interest rate. So this is the website. I suggest if you want more information on it, go there. The pros, they mentioned lower rates, lower monthly mortgage payment, lower closing costs, potentially an optional appraisal, Sometimes you don't have to get appraisal. And what are the cons? Lender requirements, you do have to meet the lender's requirements. So if the lender says all of our people have to have a 580 credit score, you have to have a 580 credit score. Higher down payments because you have to cover that gap. But then again, with Rome, you can take out a second mortgage for that. And then PMI for the life of the loan. In most instances regarding FHA, PMI will remain for the life of the loan. There are some exceptions.
And with that, with Rome, they are partnering with a lender in order to fill in that gap. So here's the thing, either you come to the table with cash, or if you don't have the cash for the difference, they have a specific lender that they work with to help get you qualified for the difference. So don't let not having the cash for the difference deter you from putting in your application. They really, when I say they have streamlined this process for the benefit of the buyer to make it easy to understand and easy to navigate, they really have done that well and simplified the process. I mean, just in going to their website, I was like, oh, simple, very, very simple.
Okay.
Yeah. The president of the company is coming to our system this Saturday at 9:00 to talk to us about this so we can learn more about it from him. So I need a buyer.
Yes. So if you are looking for an assumable loan, Vanda's listing is in Katy, Texas. It's 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a little over 2,700 square feet. You can see it in my videos. I was there, like I said, on Sunday doing an open house. So you can check my reels. Vanda has it posted on her page as well, with the heading 2.75% interest rate. So even if you're going new construction, so like there's lots of new construction in Katy right now. Even if you're going new construction, 2.75 is just an amazing rate. And then the fact that, again, like Vanda said, you're not taking a 30-year mortgage, you're taking over whatever is left in the mortgage. So that can be a great savings to you. We're looking up. So let's see.
I'm not finding it on here.
I also have a listing at 8030 Milam in Rosharon, and it also has an assumable loan if someone's looking to move in that area.
Shannon, what was the interest rate on that one, Charissa?
I want to say 3.75.
3.75.
3.75.
Okay, perfect. So we have a 2.75 interest rate in Katy and a 3.75 interest rate in Rosharon, Texas. Both wonderfully well-maintained homes. They're pretty much brand new. They were built inside of 2020, so they're less than 4 years old. So it's a really great opportunity to take over mortgage payments. It's a great situation for a person that may not be able to qualify for a more traditional loan, right? Because that minimum score, again, is 580. It's a great opportunity to assume the interest rate, have a lower payment, and have a lower term life of the loan. Now, please keep in mind that if you do not have the cash and you take out the second mortgage through the lender that Rome provides you with or connects you with, that term for the second mortgage may be 30 years. Okay. So if you can qualify for a shorter term, 15-year or 20-year, they can do that, but just keep that in mind if you need that second mortgage option. But it can be extremely beneficial to you. We're looking at some great rates, principal and interest of $803 with a 3.99% interest rate, a 2.9% interest rate, $837 principal and interest per month, 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. I mean, just phenomenal. But you can get some large homes through Vanda or Charissa. Vanda's listings in Katy, Charissa's is in Rose Sharon. They're both available and listed. So bring your buyers, or if you are a buyer, please reach out. It's their listing, so I'll put my plug in that I would love to represent you and help you close the deal with them.
And how will we reach you, Janila?
You can reach me on Instagram. You can message me on here. You can call me at 281-215-3307. Yes, you can find me on Facebook too. I am available. So definitely reach out. Whether you're VA or FHA. Keep in mind, VA or FHA, you can assume one of these. Or, I'm sorry, even if you're a veteran, you can assume one of these loans.
And I am a lender. I represent Loan Factory, and I would definitely try to assume a loan versus going through the process of getting a brand new one, because this will save you money in the long run. And I don't recommend a 15-year. I recommend getting a 30-year or as long as possible, but I can also show you how to pay that off faster, like within 10 years, but you don't have the pressures of having that 15-year monthly payment every month, and you can pay on the principal and reduce the amount. But we'll save that for our next one. I want to show you guys that next month.
Strategies. Like, this is what we need, is the strategies. Like, thinking outside of the box and being unconventional is what we are very good at navigating difficult situations, because we want to get the deal done. We want you to be a homeowner. We want you to have good success. We want you to sell your house. We are invested in you having good success and serving you well. And so sometimes we got to go unconventional. They call it creative financing. But
where there's a will, there's a way.
yeah. Yes. We are definitely fighting for you.
Some people get money back at closing, so they think they can't afford a house, but there are some programs we can get you in and you can get money back at closing for moving or whatever. So just give it a shot. We will work it out.
And that's the thing too. And I know Vanda was saying that she's a loan officer with Loan Factory. Get to the lender. Get to the lender. You got to put in an application. You have to see what the numbers are really looking like. A lot of buyers are out there assuming, and you're going to miss some great opportunities. Will they come around again? Absolutely. There's the best day to buy real estate is always when you can. What do you say, Charissa? Charissa says this all the time. It's always good. It's a good day to buy real estate when you can afford it. That's the day. That's the day to buy it. And so taking advantage of these opportunities, but you got to get to the lender. You got to get pre-approved. You have to look at your situation, be realistic about your situation, honest about your situation.
You don't need 10% down, you don't need 20% down. Those are old myths that's been out there. I used to hear that back in the day and you think, oh, I'm never gonna save that money up. You don't need to. Just talk to a good lender. And remember, all lenders are not the same. They're like restaurants. You can go to Red Lobster and get a lobster, but you can't go to a pizza joint, which is a restaurant, and get a lobster. So
No, absolutely.
All right.
All right. So sounds good. Sounds good. Again, if you want those addresses, it's for the assumable loan houses, it's 8030 Milam Lane in Rocheron, Texas, and 22602 Patrizzi Lane in Katy, Texas. Both homes are in my, actually, I've done reels on both, so I'm going to put them both in stories. And I'll have the ladies do the same to put both in their stories, so that they can be top of mind and you can just click on them and see if that's something that you would be interested in. So we've talked about buyers, we've talked about assumable mortgages. If you have more questions, or you need assistance, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are always available to help you out. But this has been another Ask the Experts. Ladies, do you have anything before we close out?
I just want to say that this is becoming a buyer's market. I've noticed as I'm working with my buyer, they are definitely going down on the cost of the homes. So if the buyers is waiting at a time and saying, I'm waiting on the perfect moment, as I said, whenever you're ready, it's a great time to buy a home and take advantage that the price has gone down, the assumable loans are here, and the mortgage rate itself has gone down. So we're ready when you are.
ready when you are. All right,
Yes, ready
sounds
when you
good.
are. Thank y'all so much. Have a
Okay.
great week, and
All
we
right.
will see you the second Tuesday in September for the next Ask the Experts.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, got it. All right, good stuff. See you later.